Peace be upon you. In the previous video we talked about the story of The Alchemist, and in this video we will talk about the novel of the sleeping crime. But before we start, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel until all new arrives. 1. An overview of the novel. Sleeping Crime, Miss Marple's Last Case, is a novel by Agatha Christie and first published in the United Kingdom in October 1976. The number of pages for the novel in the Arabic version is 300 copies, while the number of pages for the novel in the English version is 224 pages. 2. A short summary. Strange things began to happen with Gwenda shortly after she moved to her new home. Gwenda's anxiety began to grow when she saw herself returning to the past over and over again, and her anxiety increased with the mysterious terror that she felt whenever she went down the stairs to the ground floor. Gwenda places her fears in Miss Marple's hands, and on top of them is a strange mystery, faded memories of a murder committed in the distant past. 3. Plot summary. Newly married Gwenda Reed travels with her husband to find a home for them on the south coast of England. Gwenda finds and buys a hillside home, which is a bit like her home back home. Gwenda supervises the workers working on the renovation of the house while staying in the room that she has begun to paint in her imagination will be the room of her future child. Gwenda asked to change the dark-colored wallpaper used in the house and to put in bright-colored wallpaper, and asked the workers to open a door for her between the hall and the kitchen. It turns out that the wallpaper used was masking the same wallpaper that she had imagined all the time. She goes to London on a visit with her relatives, author Raymond West, his wife and aunt Miss Jane Marple, and goes to attend the play The Duchess of Melv. Cover her face. My eyes were confused, she died young, Gwenda shouted. Her imagination blew a picture of a man saying these words choking a blonde woman named Helen. Gwenda was born in India where her father was stationed, and from a young age she grew up in New Zealand at her aunt's home after her mother's death. Her father passed away a few years after her mother's death. Gwenda recalls being on a ship, and later explains that they are two ships. Miss Marple says that Gwenda lived in England with her father and his second wife, which explains Gwenda's memories. She met Helen Kennedy, Holiday, her stepmother's second wife. Her father is on a ship bound for England from India. The two fell in love with each other and married upon arrival in England. The couple rented a house in Dilmouth where Helen grew up. The seashells proved to be old memories of Gwenda staying in that house 18 years ago as a very young child. Gwenda now contemplates the frightening picture and closing words of the play. Are they real memories? 2. Her husband Giles arrives from New Zealand and decides to pursue this mystery and publish an ad looking for Helen. Dr. Kennedy responds, Helen's half-brother who grew up on his hand and who retired from his job and moved to another village. Miss Marple arranged an appointment to visit some friends in Dilmouth. Often at home, Miss Marple is plucking ivy herbs from her garden. Miss Marple finds the gardener who once worked in the Kennedy family lawn that includes her brother and sister and who later describes many of the events that happened there. Miss Marple finds the chef from the Halliday family, named Edith, who remembers the time so well. Soon the Halliday family moved to a house in Norfolk before Helen's disappearance. Helen wanted to escape from her family, and the servants assumed she wanted it because of her husband, but that was not the case. Her main goal was to escape from her brother. She fell in love with Halliday and fell in love with his daughter. The Reed family announcement has reached the former Halliday family's maid named Lily. First I sent a letter to Dr. Kennedy, thinking he was a friend. She said that she did not think Helen escaped because the clothes in her bag did not indicate this because she had an evening dress without shoes or the belt that was worn with him. Dr. Kennedy and the Reed family agree he should answer her to arrange a meeting at his current home, but Lily never goes to the appointment. Police found Lily asphyxiation near the train station after she arrived on an early train with a letter from Dr. Kennedy. Miss Marple advised Gwenda to tell the police everything who had discovered Helen's body buried in the garden at the end of the balcony. Gwenda was at home alone when Dr. Kennedy approached her for strangling her after he failed in a previous attempt to poison her. Miss Marple arrives with a can of soapy solution and has been sprayed in his eyes in an attempt to stop him. Dr. Kennedy choked his sister, and said the closing words from that play unaware that little Ginda was at the top of the stairs. He buried Helen in the garden and set a trap for her husband to accuse him of. There was no corpse, so he was considered insane and taken to death in a foster home. His diaries since then have shown that he was of sound mind, but could not explain seeing his murdered wife strangled next to him. Kennedy gave drugs to Halliday to make him mad and then put the drug in his drink so that he could put it next to strangle Helen. Kennedy transported her body again, and it was not the letter she found with Lily that she received from Kennedy, who had changed her after he had killed her. Kennedy learned that the police would analyze the circumstances of the crime as planned, so Nanny sent Lenny to the house with the drugs that killed her. Miss Marple explains all this to the Reed family and conveys to them the Kennedy full confession and how they should have seen it from the start from that sentence in the play. In the end, we hope that you liked the video and do not forget to subscribe to the channel until everything new arrives, and bye bye.